Namaste. Good morning to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a few moments to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where your spine and the back of your neck can sit nice and long and tall. Opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you can think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout today. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is the eighth and the final limb of yoga, which is Samadhi. Samadhi usually refers to the state of enlightenment or the state of bliss. The Sanskrit translation of Samadhi, sama meaning equal and di meaning to see, it means the ability to see equally. And its guidance is to see equally without disturbances from the mind, without our experience being conditioned by likes or dislikes or habits, and without a need to judge or become attached to any particular aspect. We are spiritual beings who happen to have a body. When we can move past the mind-body, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, then every moment can become an opportunity to practice our journey towards Samadhi. To recognize this pure spirit in ourselves, to recognize this pure spirit in everyone, and to recognize this pure spirit in everything. This moves you closer to Samadhi. The ability to see equally is to have a state of consciousness where individual awareness dissolves into the greater whole and you achieve a oneness with the universe. That is enlightenment and that is bliss. So for this morning's meditation, I'm going to talk about Namaste, which is kind of applies to this. Namaste is used a lot in yoga. And what it actually breaks down to, the word Namaste breaks down to Nama meaning bow, as means I, and te means you. So it translates to I bow to you. And it represents the belief that there is a divine spark within each of us that is located at the heart. Namaste is a recognition of the spirit in one, recognizing the spirit in another. And often you see namaste done, with the eye bow to you. It's either that way or with your hands in the Anjali Mudra. And this is the Anjali Mudra where the base of your palms are together and the tops of your fingers are together, but there is a little bit of an opening, like a flower about to unfurl. So the Anjali Mudra is a gesture of love and respect and equality, recognizing the spirit in you as equal to the spirit in me. So for our meditation this morning, I'd like to have you use that Anjali Mudra and have a slight bow when you are meditating, and just connect with that word namaste, which is the recognition of the spirit in yourself and the spirit in another. And that other can be a person or anything. So let's just take a few moments to do that, and I will meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes now. Maintain your nice, comfortable seated position with your spine nice and tall, sitting nice and tall. We're going to do a few breathing exercises, or one, the Samadhi, here comes the sun. Samadhi is equal length breaths. And you're going to count to 4 for the inhale and count to 4 or go from 4 to 1 on the exhale. And we're going to establish that breathing, equal length breathing pattern. And then we'll add a few of our asanas to it, our poses. So we're going to inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to add our sun breaths to it. So we're going to inhale, bringing our arms up to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. One last time. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to take that same count and then make some sun twists. So we're going to inhale, twisting to the left on the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and bring our hands down to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Twisting to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bringing our hands down on our exhale. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweeping to the left. Bring your hands down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just kind of count to yourself. Try to make a nice, smooth rhythm. And if you need to add more numbers to make it nice and smooth, like up to 6, that's your option. The idea is just to kind of get a nice, even flow, even movement here. Equal length breath. Being able to see equally and to be able to breathe equally. You can return back to center, and we're going to roll down on our mat. For this roll down, I'd like you to extend your legs fully out, point your toes, send your arms up in the air, and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lower down to the mat. And then once you're down on the mat, come into the reclined mountain pose, where your toes are pointing up to the sky. Your lower back is reaching toward the mat. Shoulders are relaxed and snug on the mat. Your chin is slightly tucked toward your chest. Then we're going to slide our right foot up our left inner leg up to the knee, pointing our right knee to the right side of the mat. And then we're going to take the left foot, the sole of our left foot, and bring it to the sole of the right foot. And join the two soles of our feet together. And we're in a reclined goddess pose. We'll just take a few deep breaths here. You can do the Samadhi, the equal length breath here. And then bringing your hands to each thigh, you bring your knees together. And then bring your knees over your chest and give them a nice hug. And then with your fingers interlaced, bring them behind your head and just support your head like it's in a hammock. And we're going to bring our chest and our chin up toward our knees. And then exhale, bring them back down. You're not pulling up with your head, you're pulling up first with your chest and then second with your chin. So inhale, come up toward your knees, and exhale down toward the mat. And your hands are just providing a nice hammock cushion for your head to rest on. So inhale, come back up, exhale, back down. Inhale, back up, exhale, back down. Inhale, back up, exhale, back down. We're actually, since I'm talking, I'm realizing now that exhaling on the way up is probably more comfortable. Sometimes it helps just to keep quiet and listen to your breath. And one last time, up and back down. We'll place both feet on the mat. Our knees are about hip width apart. And we're going to send the right leg straight up in the air so that the sole of our feet are pointing up to the sky. So your toes are flexed toward the top of your mat. And then we're going to take our arms and walk up our leg as far up as your arms will allow without coming up off the mat. So having your spine and the back of your neck along the mat, just walk your arms up your leg as far as they will go. And then we're going to take our right leg, and bring it to the right side of the mat in a 1 o'clock position. And you can just guide it with one hand. You can support your leg with one hand. And then bring it to 2 o'clock. And then I'm going to bring it all the way down to 3 o'clock. And again, you can use your hand to support your leg. And then bring it back up to 2 o'clock, back up to 1 o'clock, and back up to noon time, 12 o'clock. We'll do that 2 more times. So with your hand on your leg, as far up, you could just guide it to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and to 3 o'clock. And then back up to 2 o'clock, back up to 1 o'clock, back up to 12 o'clock. One last time, to 1 o'clock, to 2 o'clock, to 3 o'clock. Back up to 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Now we're going to bring that knee to the chest, give it a nice hug, and bring our hands to our feet. So we're going to wrap our hands around our right foot, our knees over our chest, and we're going to send that foot again up to the sky and try to straighten it as much as possible. And then bring that back down, knee over the chest, and you set that foot back down onto the mat. We'll do the same on the other side. So we're going to send our left foot up to the sky so that the sole of the foot is up to the sky. Toes are flexed toward the front of the mat. And then with our right hand just alongside of our left hand alongside of our left leg, we're just going to guide it, have it be there for support. So bring the foot to the 11 o'clock position, to the 10 o'clock position, and then to the 9 o'clock position. Scooch over a little. And then bring that back up to the 10 o'clock position, 11 o'clock position, and 12 o'clock position. We'll do that 2 more times. Down to 11 o'clock, down to 10 o'clock, down to 9 o'clock, back up to 10, up to 11 o'clock, and up to 12 o'clock. And down to 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and back up to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. You bring that leg in, knee over your chest, give it a nice hug. And then walking your hands down your leg, bringing them to your foot, wrapping your hands around your foot. Going to then send your sole of your foot up to the sky and try to straighten your leg as much as possible. And then bring that foot back down to the mat. And we're going to come back up to tabletop, so you can roll over to your side, or you can rock and roll your way back up to your hands and knees. Choose to rock and roll. Up into your hands and knees. And we'll do tabletop. So your wrists are right below your shoulders. Fingers are spread out wide, index finger pointing up to the top of the mat. Weight is equally distributed in your hands. Feel that you can wiggle into that equal distribution. And then pushing down a little bit so that you create some space between your shoulder and your ears. You're not slouching your shoulders down to your ears. Maintain that space. Knees are right below your hips. Navel's tucked to the spine. The tabletop, and then we're going to do some cat-cow. So we're going to exhale, rounding our back, dropping our head and tailbone down. Feeling that nice stretch along our spine. Then inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up. For cow. Exhale, rounding the back, dropping the head and tailbone down for cat. Inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up for cow. Exhale, rounding the back, dropping the head and tailbone down for cat. Inhale, lifting the head and tailbone up for cow, and just continue a few more times at your own pace, inhaling and exhaling. And then come back to a neutral spine, back to tabletop. We're going to do a variation of our bird dog. We're going to have our hands remain on the mat. Really feel that equal distribution of weight into your hands. And then we're going to lift our right knee up and keep the bend in the knee so that the sole of the foot goes up to the sky. So your knees pointing to the back of the mat, sole of your foot's pointing up to the sky. And we'll bring that back down. So inhale, bring it back up again. And exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, bring it back up again. And exhale, back down. Really focus on that equal distribution of weight in your hands, not trying to tip into one hand or the other too much. Inhale, bringing the leg back up. Exhale, bring it back down. And one last time, inhale, bring the leg up. So the foot goes up to the sky. And bring it back down. We'll do that on the other side. You want to just twirl your hands. Relax your wrists for a moment. And then come back down to the mat. Back to tabletop. Back to centering yourself over your hands. And then lift the left leg up so the foot goes up to the sky. And bring the knee back down. Inhale again, lift the knee up. Sole of the foot goes up to the sky. Exhale, come back down. And one last time, inhale, lifting the knee up. Sole of the foot goes up to the sky. And back down. Then we'll walk our hands back toward our knees. And we're going to bring our hips down onto our heels. And this is a variation of hero's pose. And I'd like you to try to be in that. I know that we've done modifications, but it's important to have this kind of stretch going along the tops of your thighs today. So we're going to bring our hands around back, interlace our hands, or fingers rather, and relax our shoulders and roll them to the back, creating a nice long spine and back of the neck. And we'll do some chest openers. So we inhale, bring our hands away from our hips. Exhale, bring our hands over to the right waist. Inhale, send them back away from the hips. Exhale over to the left hip, left waist. Inhale, send them back away from the hips. Exhale over to the right waist. Inhale, send them back. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale over to the left waist. Inhale, sending them back away from our hips. Exhale over to the right waist. And one last time. Inhale, send them back. And exhale over to the left waist. Release your hands. Bring your toes underneath you. And we'll walk your hands back again, coming up into a squat. Pushing down in your toes, we'll come up to the mountain pose. We'll do our mountain pose, our posture essentials. So your feet have your toes pointing to this long edge of the mat. Feet are about hip width apart. And legs are nice and straight and strong. Knees are gently bent. Navel's tucked to your spine. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Crown of your head's reaching up to the sky. Chin is slightly tucked back. This is your mountain pose and good posture. So we inhale, sweep our hands all the way up overhead. And exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees to support our lower back. Bringing our hands to the mat. Just check in with yourself. See how you're feeling today. I have a little extra real estate that's being bent over from Thanksgiving. So I can feel that around my midriff. But everything feels great. And I'm going to inhale, slide our hands up to our shins, straightening out our back, nice long spine. Gaze is sent down for half forward fold. And then drop the crown of the head down toward the mat for forward fold. And then sweep your hands all the way up overhead. Bring them up over your head and then bringing yourself up onto your tippy toes for palm tree. We'll just take a moment and sway here, gain our balance. Boop, boop. And then exhale, bringing our hands all the way back down to the mat again, bending our knees, support our lower back. Inhale, bringing our hands to our shins, flattening out the back, sending the gaze down, half forward fold. Exhale, send the crown of your head down toward the mat. And then inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead, bring your palms together. And then we're going to drop our right hand to the right thigh for a side stretch. So slide that right hand down toward your right knee, arching toward the right side of the mat. Inhale, come back up. And lowering your left hand down to your left thigh, stretching down toward your knee and stretching over to the left side of the mat. Inhale, come back up. We'll do each side once again. So bring your right hand down, slide right down to your right knee. Inhale, back up. And bring your left hand down to left thigh, slide it down toward your left knee, arch over to the left. And then come back up. And then exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat, bending your knees. Inhale, bring your hands to your shin, flattening out your back, half forward fold. Exhale, sending the crown of your head down toward the mat. And then inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead again. Bring them up overhead and bring the palms together. Then bring the palms to your heart center, Anjali Mudra. We're going to lift our right leg up first. So we're nice and rooted into the mat with our left foot. And just gain your balance here for a moment. Feel kind of solid in your balance. And then keeping your left hand where it is, kind of a half of an Anjali Mudra, you're going to take your right hand, slide it over your knee and down to your foot, and then tip over. Now, I'm having a bounce off day today. Slide it down to your foot and bring the heel of your foot to your hip, sending the knee down toward the mat. And find your drishti, you're sending your gaze out, and the trataka, landing it on something that's still and stable. So find the stability in this. And then you can drop your right foot down. We'll do the same on the left. So inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead, bringing our palms together, and then bringing our palms to heart center. We're going to lift our left leg up. And then keep your right hand, the half Anjali Mudra, at your core. That helps actually, believe it or not, with your balance. Slide your hand down your leg, grabbing your foot, sending your knee down toward the mat. All right, and let go. So sweep your hands all the way up overhead again. Big inhale, exhale, forward fold, bending at the knees, bringing your hands down to the mat. Bringing your hands halfway up to your shins, flattening out your back for half forward fold. And then dropping the crown of your head down toward the mat for forward fold. Then sweep your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And palms come to the back of your hips for supported back bend. So with your palms against your hips, fingertips pointing down. Your feet are hip width apart. You relax your shoulders. Tuck your chin toward your chest. And just gently drop your shoulders backward. Really listen to your breath here. Take some nice deep inhales and exhales and adjust your pose if the day becomes shallow. And then bring yourself back upright. How's everyone doing? Just inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. Big inhale, exhale, bringing them down. Palms down to the mat and landing your palms on the mat. We send our feet toward the back of the mat, coming into mountain pose. Downward dog, sorry. Where am I? And we'll just kind of pedal out here for a few moments. Now, downward dog, your arms are nice and straight and strong. And your hips are sent up to the sky. Knees are soft and bent. You could be pedaling with this. Chest is reaching toward the thighs. Create a little bit more height in your hips toward the sky. So if you remember your drishti point for downward dog, it's your navel. So I'm going to bring my right knee to my right elbow on the next inhale. So inhale, bring your right knee to your right elbow, pushing off with your left toes. And then bring it back And downward dog, pedal out some more. And then we're going to do that again. So bring your knee to your elbow, pushing off with your left toes. And then back again for downward dog. And on the last one, we're going to bring our right foot between our hands. So on the inhale, lift your right foot up, bring them between your hands and frame your hands around your foot. Your knees right over your ankle. Your back foot, the knee or the heels pushing toward the back of the mat. You feel that stretch in your legs. And then we're going to push down in our front foot and lift up slightly, setting our gaze straight ahead to the front of the mat and sending our arms out back like airplane arms. And then bring our arms back down to the mat. Send our right foot back to meet the left, coming into plank pose. Plank pose, our shoulders are right above our wrists. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat, navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips slightly. And then you can come down to the mat gently, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. So gently come down. And then when you hit, you can send your hands, slide them to the front of the mat until your elbow is right below your shoulder, coming into Sphinx pose. So we're going to push down gently into our elbows, create that space between our shoulders and our ears. Tops of our feet pushing down. And it's an active pose. And I do have a few jokes for our Sphinx pose. First one, they're about enlightenment. So let's see. Did you hear about the Buddhist monk who almost achieved total spiritual enlightenment? He only made it to nirvana. Ha ha ha. Then we're going to take our hands, slide them back so that they're under our shoulders, and lift them off the mat. So our chest and our chin is reaching up, lifting us off the mat, and our hands are off the mat. It's a baby cobra. And then we bring our hands back down the mat, keeping our elbows tucked to our side. We're going to gently lift our chest and chin up further, gently pushing into the mat with our hands, coming up into full cobra. And keeping your elbows tucked to your side. And then pushing down the tops of your feet, pushing down into your arms, extending your arms fully. We're going to come up into up dog. And then bring the knees down to the mat. Extend our hips back so that they come down to our ankles. Arms are extended. And we're going to rest a moment in child's pose. Inhale, come back up to tabletop, tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to the sky, come back into downward dog, and pedal out here for a moment. And then slowly walk your feet up toward your hands until you get to forward fold. And then sweep your hands from the mat all the way up to the sky. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we're going to go into tree pose from here. So you lift your right leg up as we did before. Find your balance. Find a spot on the wall that's stationary or taka. And then bring your foot either down to the mat so your right heel's against your left ankle. That's one variation of tree pose. Or you can bring your foot up to your shin, sending your right knee out to the right side of the mat. That's another variation. Or you can bring that right foot all the way up to your left thigh. Keeping your hands in Anjali Mudra. Just feel the stillness. And then we're going to take our knee with our right hand. We're going to slide down to our foot, keeping the left hand in that half mudra pose. Find the stability here, like we did earlier. And then slide our hand around the front of our toes, and then come to the inner part of our foot. So our right hand is on the inside of our foot. Your thumb is on the ball of your toes. And then we're going to go into dancer pose. So send your left hand out as you're raising your right leg up, pushing your right foot into your right hand as you go. And just do that as long as possible. Experiment with that a little bit. And just try it one more time. Seem to be having a not very good balance day on my left foot today. Try it one more time. Nope. Alrighty, well, we'll come back to that on the other side. So let's go back to doing that asana practice again. Again, that's the key word here, everyone. Practice, not perfect. It's a yoga practice, not your yoga perfect. So we're going to sweep our hands up over our head. And exhale, bringing them down to the mat. Placing both hands down on the mat. Sending our feet to the back of the mat, coming into downward dog. And pedal out here for a few moments. And your arms are nice and straight and strong. Chest is reaching toward your thighs. Gaze at that navel. And then we're going to bring our left knee to our left elbow. So on the inhale, bring that left knee to the left elbow, pushing off it with your right toes. And then back again to downward dog, pedal out. And then again, bring your right knee, or left knee rather, to your left elbow, pushing off your right foot. And then back to downward dog. And we're going to bring our left foot all the way up between our hands. So on the inhale, lift your left foot up, guide it up to the top of the mat so that it's framed by your two hands. Knees right over your ankle. Back heels pushing to the back of the mat. We're going to push down into our front leg, lifting our bodies up, sending our gaze forward, and sending our arms back like airplane arms. And then bring our hands back down to the mat. Send our left foot to join our right foot, coming into plank pose. So your shoulders are right above your wrists, navel's tucked to your spine, elevating your hips. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat. Then slowly lower either chin, chest, knees, chin, chest, knees, chest, chin. There we go, right order. Or chaturanga, coming down to the mat. And then slide your arms out to the front of the mat, coming into Sphinx pose. Elbows are right below your shoulders. Give a gentle push down into the elbows so that you feel your weight equally distributed. Tops of your feet are pushing down into the mat. I have another joke, enlightenment joke. My Eastern philosophy guru told me, to gain enlightenment, you must live in harmony with the mystical source of everything. Wait, I thought you told me last week that enlightenment came from sudden bursts of insight when meditating on a koan, which is a bat. Well, he replied, that was Zen, this is Tao. Ha, ha, ha. So we bring our hands right below our shoulders and lift our hands off the mat as we lift our chest and chin up for baby cobra. And then gently put your hands on the mat, keeping your elbows tucked to your side. Slowly, gently push down, lifting your chest and chin up to cobra. And then with the tops of your feet squarely on the mat, we're going to extend our arms fully, come all the way up into up dog. And then bring our knees down to the mat. Send our hips to our ankles. As we sit down, our arms are extended. We come into child's pose. Inhale, come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, raise your hips up to the sky, coming into downward dog. Pedal out here for a few moments. And then slowly walk your feet up to your hands, coming into forward fold. And then sweep your hands from the floor all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll do tree pose on the other side. So bringing your foot up or your knee up. And then you can send it down so that your toes are on your ankle or your sole of your foot's on the inner part of your right leg or all the way up to the inner part of your right thigh. And just take a moment to feel the stillness. Then keeping your right hand where it is, We're going to take our left hand, slide it along our left leg down to our left foot, sending that left knee down toward the mat. And then bring your left hand to the inner part of your left foot. Your thumb should be on the big ball of your big toe, right below your big toe. And then we're going to extend our right hand out in front of us as we extend our left leg out behind us, pushing it into our left hand, coming into dancer's pose. And then bring everything down. Well done, everyone. Little pinky toes come to the edges of the mat. Heels tucked in about 45-degree angle. Anjali Mudra, palm at heart center. And we're going to slowly lower our hips down to the mat, bringing our torso between our legs for a wide-legged squat. Elbows are resting on the inner part of our knees. We send our hands a little bit lower toward the mat, feeling that stretch. And then bring our seat down to the mat. Lower ourselves down to the mat, either express method by putting your hands under your knees and rolling back, or slowly, one vertebrae at a time, whichever you prefer. Bring our knees to our chest, give them a nice gentle hug. And then we're going to rock back and forth just to massage our lower back. We make some nice big circles with our toes in one direction. And then the opposite direction, just again, massaging our lower back. And then with our knees over our chest, we're going to extend our arms out to the side and do some reclined twists. So on the exhale, lower our knees to the right side of the mat. And then slowly, gently turn our head to the left to look at our left fingertips. Take some deep breaths here. And slowly turn our head back to center. Inhale, lifting our legs back to center. And then slowly lowering our legs to the left as we exhale. Gently turning our head to the right to look at our right fingertips. And slowly turn your head back to center. Inhale, lift your legs back to center. And then extend them to the bottom of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. Sending your heels to the corners of the mat, let your feet just flop open. Sending your arms diagonally away from your body, with the palms reaching up to the sky. Just relax your arms, relax your shoulders, soak down into the mat. Today's poem I have for you is called Experience This Moment as It Is by Danna Faulds. Experience this moment as it is. Throw off the bonds of your conditioning and fear and celebrate the wonder of being here. Experience this moment as it is, connected by breath and essence to the whole. You couldn't be separated if you tried. Live this day as if the earth exhales blessings in your direction, as if trees speak their deepest secrets in your ear, as if bird songs can lift you outside your ordinary state of mind and bring you into truth. Be the creative juice flowing through the universe. Be compassion in action and wholeness in motion. Be silence and stillness. The ocean of love so palpable that not one cell of you disputes the truth that you are that.